My name is Karen Chandler. Can y'all tell me if any of y'all knew my son or knew of him? If y'all do, raise your hand. He was from this community. He went to Grant, four-year football student. He did great. I mean, we knew he wasn't a college student, so as soon as he got out of school, he went to work. He was doing great. He had his whole life ahead of him. He was making good money. He bought his new truck. He bought his new four-wheeler. He was living in, even though he was renting, he was living on his own. He had his whole life ahead of him. I got a call February 23rd, 2014 at 3 o'clock in the morning. That phone call will be forever etched in my mind. I hear that phone call every day. That phone call changed our lives, and it wasn't for the better. I got a phone call from his best friend saying for me to get to Racetrack Road in Bentley. That was a half a mile from Chad's house. And he said, I think Chad's dead. You don't want your parents to get a phone call saying that they think you're dead, and so you have no idea what happened. My first thought was, oh, these kids have gotten in a fight. And then as soon as he said, I think Chad's dead, so many different things ran through my mind. I had no idea. I woke my husband. We jumped in the vehicle and made it to the scene in record time. My son was dead. My son was underneath the vehicle at 3 o'clock in the morning when he should have been at home in the bed. The last thing when I talked to my son at 9 o'clock that night, he said he was at home in the bed, and he was. But somebody had a party. They called, wanted him to come get him. I don't know, we'll never know the exact story, but pretty much somebody had a party and he left to go get him. Well, at 3 o'clock in the morning, he didn't make it home. We came up with a pledge because there was so many people that knew Chad. I mean, yeah, he did things. He did things that weren't exactly right, but he was a great person. And we came up with this pledge. It's called the Chad Change Pledge. And I have some cards. If y'all want one, I have them back there. And I also have some bracelets like I'm wearing now to keep the Chad Change Pledge going. If I can help one parent not to have to go through what I go through every day, it would be tremendously great. But the number one of the Chad Change Pledge is to make memories. Try to make as many memories as you can. Take pictures, make videos. You or your loved ones may need them to look back on. Not only will it mean the world to them now, it'll give you and them the fond memories to cherish when you get older. It'll give you great stories to tell your grandkids. That is, if you have the pleasure of having them. I'm thankful to have so many pictures and memories of my son. Not only my memories, but ones that his friends and family members shared with me. I always love to hear stories about my son, no matter what they are, because that's all I have left. Number 2 is to make amends. Never stay mad at someone. You never know if it'll be the last time you'll see them or they'll see you. It's not worth it. Sometimes you just have to be the bigger person. If something were to happen to either one of you, you wouldn't want to live with an argument for the rest of your life, or vice versa. I'm so glad that me and my family were so close to Chad. I don't know if I would have been able to deal with the fact that we had been on bad terms when he had his accident. Number 3, always wear your seatbelts. This is a given. Safety first. Before ever putting your vehicle in gear, put your seatbelt on. Not only is it the law and you'd get a ticket for not wearing it, but a seatbelt could keep you inside of a rolling or flipping vehicle, therefore saving your life. If Chad and his passengers would have had their seatbelts on, him or 2 other passengers would not have been thrown from the truck, and he may still be here with us, and they may not be living with the battles from the injuries they sustained. I didn't used to think it was necessary to wear my seatbelt all the time, but the circumstances of Chad's accident made me think differently. Before taking my vehicle out of park, my seatbelt's on. Number 4, drive safely, not crazy. First, obey the speed limits. They're set for a reason. Especially on these gravel roads and back roads here in Grant Parish. Second, keep your mind and eyes on the road. You never know when a deer or a dog or some other animal will run out in front of you. And if you're not thinking straight or you're not focusing on the road, you might swerve or jerk too hard and lose control of your vehicle, especially if you're driving too fast. Had Chad not been driving too fast on a gravel road, and had he been not been focusing on his passengers, then he may not have lost control of his vehicle. Therefore, he might still be here. The gravel road that Chad had his accident on, was the road that he lived on. So he traveled that road every day while he was home and he wasn't working offshore. This just goes to show you that no matter how well you think you know the road, accidents can happen very easily and too often. And it wasn't a rainy night, so it wasn't because of rain or anything like that. Number 5, don't drink and drive. You know that any amount of alcohol can impair your judgment. Think not only of yourself, but think about the others on the road too. Although at this age it's illegal for you to be drinking, if you are drinking, call someone to come get you before you put yourself behind the wheel. And make sure and have a designated driver. And if you are that designated driver, don't think it's okay for you to have just one drink. It's not. If you see one of your friends and you know they're going to get behind the wheel and they've been drinking, step in and take their keys. I wish someone had taken my son's keys. They may be mad at you in the moment, but it's better than them being in the hospital or dying. It's better than you being in the hospital or dying, or worse, putting someone else in the hospital or killing someone else. With Chad, had he not had a drink, he may have thought more about what he was doing and not tried to drive home. Like I said, his accident was on the same road that he lived on, exactly 1/2 of a mile from his house. He almost made it home. Almost. Don't chance it. Don't chance your life or chance someone else's life. It's definitely not worth it. Number 6, don't text and drive. 1 second that you take your eyes off the road is all it takes. That 1 second can mean the difference between life or death. Think about it. Is that one message worth it? Check out the AT&T Drive Mode app at itcanwait.com. Last I checked, there was over 8,030,000 people had taken the pledge at AT&T not to text and drive. Don't risk it. It's not worth it. Number 7, remember that we're not promised tomorrow. Life can be taken in the blink of an eye, yours or someone close to you. No one is immune from death. We don't get to choose how long we stay on this earth. Don't take life-threatening chances. Use good judgment. Live your life to the fullest, but remember the last 6 of those pledges. Please, please think hard about the next one. I never thought for one moment that one of my children could be taken from me like Chad was. Now I have to live with that horror every day. I sincerely hope that your parents or even you never have to go through what I go through every day. The last one, number 8, is get to know God if you don't already. He's the best thing you could possibly have in your life. He's the best fighter you could have in your corner. He's waiting with his arms outstretched for you to come to know him. I really don't know what I would have done without God in our lives. He gave us faith and hope to go on. By knowing God, I know that I'll see my son again. Chad was also raised in a church, and through our many conversations and through the words of many of his friends after his death, I have no doubt that I'll see him again in heaven. Like I said, he wasn't perfect. He did things. I know many of you have done the same things he did. He never got a chance to learn from his major mistake. Don't make that mistake that you won't have a chance to learn from. Learn from someone else's mistake. I thank you for your attention.